What if I told you that one state in America, just one, is home to the oldest living trees on Earth? The highest and lowest points in the continental US. The birthplace of the internet, blue jeans, Barbie, skateboards, and fortune cookies. And that this same state was once its own independent country for 25 days? That state? California. And trust me, we're just getting started. Stick around because we've got 50 wild facts about the Golden State that are going to blow your mind. Some of these sound completely made up, but every single one is 100% true. Let's go! California's wild facts start right now. California has more people than the entire country of Canada. California is home to over 39 million people, making it the most populous state in the US by a massive margin. To put that in perspective, 1 in every 8 Americans lives there. That's not a state, that's practically its own world. If California broke away tomorrow, it would be the 5th largest economy on the planet. California's GDP sits around $397 trillion, larger than the economies of India and the United Kingdom. It's the financial engine not just of the US, but of the entire world. One county in California is bigger than 9 whole US states. San Bernardino County covers over 20,000 square miles. Larger than Maryland, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island combined. California shakes more than 10,000 times a year, and most people don't even feel it. California experiences roughly 10,000 earthquakes annually. The vast majority are tiny microtremors, but they never stop. The ground is literally always moving. This state has 9 national parks, more than any other state in the country. From Yosemite to Death Valley to Sequoia, California's 9 national parks give it more federally protected wilderness than anywhere else in the US. That's 9 ecosystems, 9 wonders, all in one state. California grows 80% of the world's almonds, the entire world. The state is the world's almond capital, and its official state nut is the almond. California also produces around 90% of all wine made in the United States and around 95% of America's avocado supply. The name California came from a novel written more than 500 years ago. In 1510, Spanish author García Rodríguez de Montalvo wrote a best-selling novel about a mythical island paradise called California, ruled by a warrior queen named Calafia and filled with gold and jewels. When Spanish explorers arrived on the Pacific coast, they believed they were on that island, and the name stuck. California was its own independent country for exactly 25 days. In 1846, a group of settlers declared California an independent republic, the California Republic, before it joined the United States. The famous bear flag is a direct holdover from that brief, bold moment in history. California's state animal is officially extinct. The grizzly bear is proudly displayed on California's state flag. The problem? The last confirmed grizzly bear sighting in California was in 1924. The state's symbol is an animal that no longer exists there. Sacramento has had 6 different capital cities, including San Francisco. Before Sacramento became the permanent capital in 1854, California cycled through 5 other capital cities: Monterey, San Jose, Vallejo, Benicia, and San Francisco. The state couldn't make up its mind. Okay, we're just getting warmed up. Coming up, the fact about a dog who became an actual mayor and served for 13 years. Yes, a dog. A real one. Don't go anywhere. The strangest fact is still coming. The tallest and lowest points in the continental US are only 85 miles apart, both in California. Mount Whitney stands at 14,505 feet above sea level. Badwater Basin in Death Valley sits 282 feet below sea level. They're practically neighbors. No other state on Earth compresses that kind of geographic drama into such a short distance. The hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth happened in California. On July 10, 1913, Death Valley hit 134.1 degrees Fahrenheit, the highest reliably recorded air temperature in human history. That record still stands today, over 110 years later. There's a tree in California so tall it would swallow the Statue of Liberty whole. Hyperion, located in Redwood National Park, stands at roughly 380 feet, the tallest living tree on Earth. The Statue of Liberty, torch and all, is about 305 feet. Hyperion would bury it. The world's largest living thing by volume is a tree in California, and it's been alive for over 2,000 years. General Sherman, a giant sequoia in Sequoia National Park, measures 52,500 cubic feet in volume. Its base circumference is 102 feet. It's not just the biggest tree, it's the largest single living organism on the planet. There are trees in California that were already ancient when the Roman Empire fell. The bristlecone pines in California's White Mountains are among the oldest living organisms on Earth, some estimated to be over 4,800 years old. These trees were alive during the time of the Egyptian pharaohs. California has a canyon deeper than the Grand Canyon, and almost nobody knows about it. Kings Canyon, located in Kings Canyon National Park, plunges deeper than the Grand Canyon in certain sections. It's one of the deepest canyons in all of North America, yet it rarely gets the same level of fame. In California's mountains, you can find pink snow. That smells like watermelon. In the Sierra Nevada during summer, microscopic algae called Chlamydomonas nivalis create a phenomenon called watermelon snow. The snow turns pinkish red and reportedly carries a faint watermelon scent. It's real, it's wild, and it's beautiful. There are rocks in Death Valley that move on their own. For decades, nobody knew why. The sailing stones of Racetrack Playa in Death Valley leave long tracks across the dry lake bed as if they're sliding across the desert floor. Scientists finally solved the mystery in 2014. Thin sheets of ice form overnight and, pushed by gentle winds, glide the rocks forward. Nature is wild. Tarantulas have their own migration season in California, and it happens every fall. Every autumn, thousands of tarantulas migrate through the Sierra Nevada foothills in search of mates. It's completely natural, entirely harmless, and one of the most surreal wildlife events in America. That iconic Green Hills photo on Windows XP, it was taken in California with zero editing. The famous Bliss wallpaper, that perfect rolling green hill under a blue sky, was photographed by Charles O'Rear in Sonoma County in 1996. No Photoshop, no filters, just California on a beautiful day. Coming up next, California gave the world blue jeans, Barbie, skateboards, the internet, and fortune cookies. But which one of those was actually invented by accident? Stay with us. The very first message ever sent over the internet came from California, and it crashed immediately. On October 29, 1969, UCLA student Charlie Klein attempted to send the word login to Stanford via ARPANET, the precursor to the internet. The system crashed after just 2 letters, LO. That accidental LO was humanity's first internet message. Blue jeans were born in California, and they started as workwear for miners. In 1873, Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis invented riveted denim trousers in San Francisco, designed for gold rush miners who needed tough, durable pants. Today, billions of people wear their invention every single day. Barbie, the most famous doll in history, was created in Southern California. Ruth Handler, co-founder of Mattel, invented Barbie in 1959 and named her after her daughter Barbara. Mattel is headquartered in El Segundo, California, making the Golden State the birthplace of one of the world's most iconic toys. Skateboards were invented in California by surfers who wanted to surf on land. In the late 1940s and early 50s, California surfers attached roller skate wheels to wooden boards so they could surf the streets. By 1963, Larry Stevenson built the first surfboard-shaped skateboard in his garage in Santa Monica, and a global culture was born. WD-40, that spray in almost every garage, was invented in San Diego after exactly 40 tries. In 1953, the Rocket Chemical Company in San Diego was trying to create a rust prevention formula for the aerospace industry. It took them 40 attempts to get it right. They named it Water Displacement 40th Formula, WD-40. Fortune cookies are not Chinese. They were invented in California. Despite being associated with Chinese restaurants worldwide, fortune cookies were actually created in California. San Francisco and Los Angeles both claim credit. A court of historical review ruled in San Francisco's favor in 1983. But the debate still rages on. Disneyland, the original, opened in California in 1955, and it changed entertainment forever. When Walt Disney opened Disneyland in Anaheim on July 17, 1955, it was the first theme park built around a narrative concept. Before Disneyland, amusement parks were chaotic collections of rides. Walt Disney, a father of 2 daughters, wanted something magical and safe for families. He literally invented the modern theme park. The first McDonald's restaurant opened in California, and it was nothing like what you'd expect. Richard and Maurice McDonald opened the original McDonald's in San Bernardino in 1940 as a drive-in restaurant famous for its speed. It was a simple burger stand, not a franchise. The rest? History. The electric guitar, the instrument that launched rock and roll, was invented in California. In 1931, steel player George Beauchamp and engineer Adolf Rickenbacker founded Electro String Instrument Corporation in Los Angeles, creating the first mass-produced electric guitar. Without California, there is no Jimi Hendrix, no Led Zeppelin, no rock music as we know it. The Neoprene wetsuit was invented in California, which makes sense given the surfing. UC Berkeley physicist Hugh Bradner pioneered the neoprene wetsuit concept around 1950. It was later commercialized by Santa Cruz surfing legend Jack O'Neill, who went on to found O'Neill Wetsuits, now one of the most recognizable surf brands in the world. Up next, a dog who was elected mayor and served 13 years, a beach made entirely of glass, and the world record ice cream sundae that stretched over 4 miles long. Stick around. The first motion picture theater in the world opened in Los Angeles in 1902. Thomas Lincoln Talley opened Talley's Electric Theater on April 2, 1902, the first commercial movie theater in the United States. Hollywood was just getting started. The first hot fudge sundae was invented in California, at an ice cream parlor on Hollywood Boulevard. In 1906, C.C. Brown's Ice Cream Parlor in Los Angeles combined American-style fudge with ice cream and created the Hot Fudge Sundae. National Hot Fudge Sundae Day is now celebrated every July 25th. Silicon Valley used to be a farm, growing apricots, cherries, and plums. Before it became the tech capital of the world, the Silicon Valley region was known as the Valley of Heart's Delight for its beautiful orchards and fruit production. The transformation from apricots to apple is one of the most dramatic economic pivots in history. A dog was elected mayor of a California town and served for 13 years. In 1981, residents of Sunol, California, elected Bosco Ramos, a black Labrador Rottweiler mix, as their honorary mayor after he beat 2 human candidates. Bosco served until he passed away in 1994. A bronze statue of him still stands outside the Sunol post office. There's a beach in California made entirely of sea glass, and it's breathtaking. Glass Beach, near Fort Bragg in Northern California, is covered in millions of smooth, colorful pieces of glass, polished by decades of ocean waves. What once was a coastal dumping ground became one of the most uniquely beautiful beaches in the world. In 1985, Anaheim, California, made the world's longest ice cream sundae, stretching over 4 miles. Residents of Anaheim created a sundae that stretched 4.55 miles long in 1985, a world record at the time. It contained nearly 4,667 gallons of ice cream. California goes big. Marilyn Monroe's very first public title was Artichoke Queen in California. In 1947, a young Norma Jean, before she became Marilyn Monroe, was crowned the first Artichoke Queen of Castroville, California. Castroville still calls itself the artichoke capital of the world, and they were right to crown her. The Hollywood sign was originally a real estate advertisement, and it said something different. When the sign was erected in 1923, it read Hollywoodland, an ad for an upscale housing development. The land portion was removed in 1949 when the city took over the sign. Now it's one of the most recognized landmarks on Earth. California is the only U.S. state to have hosted both the Summer and Winter Olympics. Los Angeles hosted the Summer Olympics in 1932 and 1984 and will again in 2028. Squaw Valley hosted the 1960 Winter Olympics. No other state has pulled off that double. There's a giant geothermal field in California's Sonoma County, and it's the largest in the world. The geysers in Sonoma County is the world's largest complex of geothermal power plants. Native tribes used the area's natural steam baths for over 12,000 years before modern energy plants were built. We're saving the wildest 5 for last, including the most bizarre California law you'll ever hear, plus the famous pop star whose first performance was at a tiny California festival. Don't leave yet. California has a 134-foot tall thermometer, and it's a roadside attraction. In Baker, California, along the road to Las Vegas, stands a 134-foot thermometer, built to commemorate Death Valley's record temperature of 134 degrees. It's one of the most bizarre and beloved roadside curiosities in America. San Francisco has more dogs per capita than any other city in the United States. The city is estimated to have between 125,000 and 150,000 dogs, more dogs than children. It's earned the unofficial nickname City of Dogs, and businesses across San Francisco are famously dog-friendly. The world's largest solar thermal power plant sits in California's Mojave Desert. The Ivanpah Solar Power Facility covers more than 3,500 acres of Mojave Desert, making it the largest solar thermal installation on the planet. California doesn't just dream big, it builds big. California's indigenous peoples once spoke over 135 different languages and dialects. Before European contact, California had one of the most linguistically diverse populations anywhere on Earth. More than 135 distinct languages and dialects were spoken across the region, by communities so separated by mountains and valleys that they developed entirely unique ways of communicating. Russia once had a fully operational trading post in California, north of San Francisco. Fort Ross, established in 1812 in Sonoma County, was a Russian settlement used for fur trading and farming with Spanish colonists. It stood for nearly 30 years before being sold. Today, it's a state historic park. Surfing was introduced to the U.S. mainland in California by Hawaiian royalty. In the late 1800s, Hawaiian princes visiting Santa Cruz brought surfboards with them and began riding the waves. Surfing spread from there across the entire U.S. California didn't invent surfing, but it gave it to America. California is so biologically diverse, it has over 40,000 plant and animal species, more than any other U.S. state. California's unique geography, from deserts to rainforests to alpine peaks to ocean coast, creates an extraordinary range of habitats. More species of plants and animals call California home than any other state in the nation. There's a tiny desert opera house in California, in the middle of absolutely nowhere. The Amargosa Opera House sits in Death Valley Junction, a near ghost town in the Mojave Desert. Built in a restored Borax Company building, it hosted live theatrical performances for decades, drawing audiences from hundreds of miles away. It's one of the most unexpected cultural gems in America. The California Gold Rush was the largest mass migration in American history. When gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill on January 24, 1848, approximately 300,000 people flooded into California from across the US and around the world within just a few years. Nothing in American history before or since has moved that many people that fast toward a single location. California's state motto, Eureka, was shouted by a Greek mathematician over 2,000 years ago. Eureka is Greek for "I have found it," famously exclaimed by Archimedes when he discovered how to measure the purity of gold using water displacement. California adopted it as its motto in honor of the gold rush. A cry of discovery from ancient Greece, now forever tied to the Golden State. Poetic. And there you have it. 50 insane facts about California that are genuinely, verifiably true. From a dog mare to the world's most ancient trees, from the first internet message to a beach made of glass. California is, without a doubt, the most wild, weird, and wonderful state in America. If this video blew your mind even a little bit, smash that like button. It helps more people discover these facts. Subscribe if you're new, and drop your favorite fact from this list in the comments. I'm curious which one got you the most. See you in the next one.